The arena lights dimmed to near darkness, and 40,000 voices fell silent as one. I've covered fights across 3 continents, witnessed knockouts that made headlines for weeks, but nothing, absolutely nothing prepared me for what unfolded that November night in Bangkok's Rajadamnern Stadium. 2 living legends, 2 philosophies of combat separated by centuries of tradition. 1 ring. The air itself felt electric, heavy with anticipation so thick you could taste it on your tongue like copper before a lightning strike. Donnie Yen entered first, moving through the tunnel with that characteristic calm that makes your spine tingle. At 49 years old, he shouldn't have been here. Everyone said so. The odds makers, the commentators, even some of his own camp whispered doubts. But watching him glide across that canvas, hands loose at his sides, you understood immediately why he'd accepted Tony Jaa's challenge. This wasn't about proving anything to the world. This was about answering a question that had haunted martial arts enthusiasts for generations. Could the refined precision of Wing Chun stand against the devastating power of authentic Muay Thai? The Hong Kong legend had spent 3 decades mastering Ip Man's legacy, but he brought something else to this fight that terrified me when I realized it. He'd cross-trained extensively in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, and mixed martial arts. This wasn't some movie choreographer playing tough guy. Yen had legitimate competitive experience, real conditioning, and that rare combination of speed and timing that separates good fighters from great ones. But his weakness was obvious to anyone paying attention: reach. Tony Jaa had nearly 4 inches on him in height, and corresponding advantages in leg strikes. Wing Chun excels in close quarters, trapping range, where those lightning-fast chain punches can overwhelm opponents. Getting there against an elite Muay Thai practitioner? That's like trying to sprint through a minefield. Then Jaa emerged, and the stadium erupted. The Thai warrior moved like controlled violence barely contained in human form. 47 years old, but carrying himself with the fluid grace of someone half that age. 175 pounds stretched over a 5'9" frame sculpted from years of Muay Boran, the ancient battlefield art that predated modern Muay Thai. Where Yen represented refinement, Jaa embodied raw elemental force. I'd watched his training footage obsessively for weeks before this fight. The man does things that shouldn't be anatomically possible. His flexibility lets him throw head kicks from angles that create blind spots in his opponent's peripheral vision. Those elbows? Forget everything you think you know about elbow strikes. Jaa throws them with his entire body weight behind the rotation, turning bone into blade. He'd knocked out 17 of his last 22 opponents, and 12 of those knockouts came from elbows or knees. But Jaa had vulnerabilities too, subtle ones that Yen's team had surely studied. Muay Thai fighters often absorb tremendous damage to their legs from checking kicks. Years of conditioning created deadened nerves, but also accumulated trauma. And Jaa's aggressive style, while spectacular, sometimes left small windows of opportunity when he committed fully to power strikes. Against a counterfighter with Yen's speed and precision, those windows could prove fatal. The referee called them to center ring for final instructions. I was close enough to see their eyes. Jaa's held fierce intensity, fire barely banked. Yen's revealed something more unsettling: absolute stillness, like looking into deep water where you can't see the bottom. Round 1 exploded with a leg kick that echoed through the stadium like a baseball bat hitting meat. Jaa established his range immediately, that lead leg snapping out with the cracking thunder that makes Thai fighters so feared. Yen checked it, absorbed it, his face showing nothing. He circled right, hands high but relaxed, studying, processing, calculating. 30 seconds in, Jaa threw a combination that showcased everything beautiful and terrifying about Muay Thai. Jab to set distance, low kick to compromise the base, then a switching knee that came up from hell itself, aimed at Yen's solar plexus. But Yen wasn't there anymore. He'd shifted just enough offline, and as that knee passed through empty air, his hands became a blur. Puck saw deflection, Lop saw grab, 3 chain punches that landed to Jaa's ribs like a hammer on a nail. Puck, 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 so fast the crowd gasped collectively. Jaa smiled, actually smiled. That's when I knew we were witnessing something special. The Thai legend reset, bouncing lightly on his toes, then came forward behind his jab. Yen slipped, parried, used footwork that looked simple, but kept him perpetually at angles where Jaa's power couldn't fully deploy. Wing Chun's genius emerged in these exchanges. Yen didn't block strikes so much as redirect them, using Jaa's own force against him, creating openings where none should exist. but Jaa adapted. Round 2 saw him mixing levels brilliantly, going high with elbows, then immediately chopping that lead leg. Each kick sounded worse than the last, and I noticed Yen's stance narrowing slightly, trying to protect that front shin. The accumulation was starting. Muay Thai breaks you down like water eroding stone, relentless, patient, inevitable. Midway through the second, Jaa caught Yen with a left hook that visibly snapped his head sideways. The crowd roared. Yen's legs wobbled for maybe half a second, barely perceptible, but Jaa saw it. He surged forward behind a devastating combination, elbow, knee, elbow, driving Yen toward the ropes with bad intentions. This was the moment everyone predicted, when superior power would overwhelm technique. Except Yen did something extraordinary. As his back nearly touched the ropes, he used Wing Chun's trapping principles not to counterstrike but to control space. His hands found Jaa's lead arm, stuck to it like Velcro, and in one smooth motion, he pivoted completely offline while simultaneously disrupting Jaa's base with a low kick of his own. Suddenly, they'd switched positions, and Jaa was the one against the ropes, and Yen was unleashing that chain-punching assault to the body that makes Wing Chun practitioners so dangerous up close. The bell saved Jaa, but barely. Round 3 became a chess match played at violent speeds. Jaa demonstrated why he's considered one of the greatest Muay Thai practitioners alive, using clinch work that should have been illegal. He caught Yen in a collar tie, dragged him forward off balance, and landed a knee to the body that made me wince from press row. But Yen's grappling background showed immediately. He fought hands, created frames, and exploded out with a burst of energy that suggested his cardio conditioning was absolutely elite. What struck me most was how neither fighter wasted movement. Every feint meant something. Every stance adjustment served a purpose. This wasn't brawling. This was high-level martial arts practiced by masters who dedicated their entire lives to their respective crafts. Round 4, the turning point. Jaa came out aggressive, perhaps sensing he needed to press his advantages before Yen's precision punching accumulated too much damage. He threw a question mark kick, starting low, then whipping high to the head. That's almost impossible to see coming. Yen saw it anyway. Or maybe he felt it in that mysterious way elite fighters have of reading intentions before movements. He ducked under, and in that moment of Jaa's full commitment, Yen stepped into the absolute perfect range for Wing Chun. What happened next lasted maybe 3 seconds, but will live in my memory forever. Yen's hands became a storm. Bill G finger strikes to Jaa's throat, controlled, not meant to injure, but to disrupt breathing. A lap sow pull that broke Jaa's posture forward, then chain punches, but not to the head where Jaa's guard was strong, to the floating ribs, the solar plexus, the liver. Precision targeting that uses minimum force for maximum effect. Pak, 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 pak. 10 strikes in 3 seconds, each one finding home, each one contributing to the calculus of accumulated damage. Jaa's legs actually buckled, just for a moment, just long enough. The Thai warrior fired back immediately with a spinning back elbow that could have decapitated Yen if it landed flush, but the damage was done. I saw it in his breathing, the way he reset his stance. Something had shifted internally. Later, Jaa would reveal Yen had cracked 2 ribs in that exchange. Round 5 saw Jaa fighting with warrior's heart despite visible pain. His kicks thundered, elbows cut air with murderous intent, but the fluidity was compromised. Yen smelled it. He pressed forward, slipping power shots by millimeters, countering with chain punches that accumulated damage like interest on debt. The crowd screamed in 3 languages, noise becoming physical pressure. Round 6 began with Jaa's last surge, a beautiful left hook to the body, right hand connecting clean on Yen's jaw. For a moment, the knockout seemed inevitable, but Yen's chin held. His counter was devastating, a straight blast driving Jaa backward, footwork cutting escape angles, surgical body shots landing relentlessly. With 90 seconds left, Jaa threw a spinning heel kick born of desperation. Yen stepped inside, trapped the leg, unleashed an uppercut that snapped Jaa's head back. The Thai legend stumbled. Yen swarmed with chain punches from both hands, overwhelming defenses through sheer precision. Jaa landed a vicious elbow, opening a cut above Yen's eye. Blood flowed freely. Yen didn't blink. He controlled centerline, continued his machine-like assault. With 30 seconds remaining, Yen's perfectly timed uppercut connected. Jaa collapsed. He rose at 8, nodding to continue, but the referee saw what we all saw. over. Donnie Yen won by technical knockout, 23 seconds left in round 6. Why? Wing Chun's efficiency conserved energy while Jaa expended power. Trapping neutralized clinch work. Precision body shots accumulated devastating damage. That night, Wing Chun's precision defeated Muay Thai's power by the narrowest margins. 2 legends, 1 answer. Wing Chun can win.